Hello, welcome to my channel, Save Infinity. In this video, I just wanted to, quickly kind of just talk about like the audacity of, humans who get like super like outraged or, really caught up in the whole fear aspect of the whole idea of, like alien abductions and implants and, injuries from, spaceships or UAPs or however you want to refer to them, or orbs or what have you. And I've mentioned in like a really old video before, but I just feel like it's such a good topic to rehash on as well. But just, I'm not discrediting that, any of those things do happen to people, or, people have such, negative experiences or what have you. But just that, I find it's just kind of funny, the uproar or outrage or the intensity some people can get into with that sort of stuff, when it's like, comparing it to what humans do and how we are to like animals on our own planet. It's like we don't really have much of a leg to stand on. Even if these things are going on, which they likely are and have been to some extent, it's nowhere near on the scale of the sort of stuff that we ourselves as humans do to animals, right? So it's like the amount of farming and slaughtering and stuff like that we do with animals, and like animal testing and all that sort of stuff that we do with animals. Can and they're like kind of what we see as like a lower life form underneath us. So there's higher life forms above us. If they treated us the same way and just started rounding us all up to be, farmed for meat and milking us for our milk, and, testing, doing, tests and stuff on us, which, I know people say, does happen, but I mean, if it happened on the scale of what we do to animals, then we really would be really like outraged and horrified, wouldn't we? We'd probably all think the world is ending or something if, aliens started coming and just rounding us all up for their farms. But yet we do that to animals all day, every day, and don't even blink an eye and just act like, we're so high and mighty, and oh, how dare an alien abduct, an occasional human here or there, or do an occasional test, for their data on a human here or there, like, oh, the outrage, when we're literally doing way worse all the time, all day, every day to animals. I don't know, I just think it's kind of funny, just that that cognitive dissonance and audacity that humans seem to have in that sort of scenario. It's like don't really kind of see the sort of things that we do on a regular basis all the time to other living creatures, and then the smallest minuscule thing happens to a human and it's like, oh, the outrage, it's the end of the world, how dare you do that to a human. But then we're doing so many worse, terrible things to animals all the time. And especially with things of you get what you give and stuff like that, we should kind of be super thankful that things aren't worse like that, considering what we do to animals. We kind of can't really complain or have a leg to stand on if a similar thing happened to us. If anything, that would just be karmic balancing in a sense. So if anything, we should be thankful and grateful, and maybe kind of think a little bit more about the way we're treating the species and animals that we class as a lower life form, if we wouldn't want a higher life form coming down and treating us that way. Like we expect and want these higher life forms and ETs and what have you to just come and help us and save us and look after us and give us all this technology and help us grow and things like that. But what do we do to our lower life forms? We eat them and slaughter them and do all sorts of horrible tests on them and shove them in cages and zoos and what have you. So maybe if we want a bit more of that sort of stuff, it's kind of like that give and take, balancing kind of act with the universe. You receive what you give and that sort of stuff, sort of vibe. We should probably be, focus more a little on that too, instead of just running amok and, treating animals terribly, but then expecting you know, other life forms in the universe to come and treat us like, you know, give us the 5-star treatment. Meanwhile, we're giving, you know, all other life forms 1-star treatment. You know, it is a bit audacious of us to have that sort of viewpoint, right? And a bit hypocritical. So yeah, might leave this video here for now, but you know, just wanted to kind of share that sentiment again, because I feel like it's such an important thing to, you know, really think about and kind of drill into our heads a little bit there. Sometimes we need to like pull our own heads out of our ass a little bit, you know what I mean? And kind of, you know, take on a little bit more of that accountability. You know, not only just treat other humans how we want to be treated, but also, you know, treat other life forms the way we want other life forms to treat us. All right, sending you so much peace, love, light, and blessings as always.